Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm coming to you with a puzzle that's been in the queue for a bit and I've been a little trepidatious about. Because those of you who paid attention to the Best of 2023 will remember that the puzzle that won Best of 2023 was 10 Types of Lines by Masterful. And this puzzle shares a lot with it. Now, I've reset this puzzle to look a bit more like 10 Types of Lines because when I originally did 10 Types of Lines, I had a lot of people... When we looked at it, there were a lot of people who complained that they couldn't tell the difference between the types of lines. So I had a lot of discussions with people before I did the video for 10 Types of Lines about how do I make this puzzle more approachable, not from a puzzle approachability, but from an, or accessible is the word I'm looking for, more accessible. And when this puzzle came in using a very, very similar concept, I'm not saying the puzzle is the same. We all do puzzles with similar concepts. There's not a detriment on the puzzle. It was a case of I was going to do the same thing. So I have actually cosmetically reset this puzzle so that the lines are more standard coloring for the lines. If there was a thematic thing on this, I apologize to the setter of this puzzle, Kennet's dad, and I have labeled the lines with names and in the rules, which are not above me here, but they are in the puzzle and they will be in the description. I have used these terms. So GW, this is a German Whispers line. NAB, this is a Nabner line. 10, this is a 10 line. TH, this is a Thermo. So I've tried to do this to make the puzzle a little bit more accessible to people because I've had nothing but complaints when there are lots of different constraints in a puzzle. Now, it's going to take me a long time to go through the rules of this puzzle before I even attempt to start solving it. So let's see how we go. Way leads on to way by Kennet's dad. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, we need to place the digits 1 to 9 without repetition. These circles are sum dots, which means the digits in a circle gives the sum of the 4 cells the circle touches. So these 4 cells will sum to 11, these will sum to 12, these will sum to 11. Then in the boxes, the lines have the following properties. In box 1, this is a modular line. So every set of 3 sequential digits will contain 1 digit from 147, 1 from 258, and 1 from 369. So in here, 1 will be from each of those sets. In here, 1 will be from each of those sets. And in here, 1 will be from each of those sets. This is a parity line. So adjacent digits alternate between odd, even, parity. This is a zipper line. So digits an equal distance away from the center of the line sum to the digit that is the center of the line. This is German Whisper. Adjacent digits must have a difference of at least 5. This is a Nabner line. No 2 digits anywhere on the line may be consecutive. This is a 10 line, which is the line consists of one or more group of continuous groups of cells, each of which sums to 10. The groups cannot overlap. This is a Thermo. Digits must increase as we go along the Thermo. In order to keep the line width, I have reduced the thickness of the Thermo. Normally I don't use thin Thermos, but I'm trying to keep the theme. This is a between line. So digits on the line must be strictly between the digits in the circles at the end of the line. This is an entropic line. So every set of 3 sequential cells on the line must contain a low, a mid, and a high digit. So 1 from 1, 2, 3, 1 from 4, 5, 6, 1 from 7, 8, 9. And this is a Renban line. So the line consists of a set of consecutive digits in any order. They're the rules of the puzzle. If you are not familiar with most of these rules, my recommendation is this puzzle may not be for you. But let's see, shall we? I don't know if this puzzle is going to be for me. I have no idea where to start. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. Now, I do know one of these is a 5 because I cannot put a 5 on a German Whisper line. There is no adjacent partner. I can also probably pencil mark this Thermo again. This is a maximum 5, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. This is a minimum of 5. These digits sum to 10. Because I can't make 2 digits sum to 10, because if I made those 2 digits sum to 10, then this digit would be a group of 10 on its own. Same if those 2 digits sum to 10, that would be a 10 on its own. So these 3 digits here sum to 10. So row 6 is interesting, because in order to sum to 10, Yeah, this is interesting. In order to sum to 10, the maximum digit I could put in it is 7. Right. The maximum digit I can put in this 10 line is a 7. Because if I put an 8 on it, I'd need 2 1s, and if I put a 9 on it, I'd need 2 digits that sum to 1. That doesn't work. So the maximum digit here is 7. 9, 8, maximum digit here is 7. So I need to put 8 and 9 over here. Now, with a German whisper line, you must alternate parity because every digit will exist either below 5 or above 5. And because any 2 digits below 5 are too close to each other to be have a 5 difference, and any 2 digits above 5 are too close to each other. Like if this was 8, 9, they're not 5 different. If this was 8, 9, they're 5 different. So those are the 8, 9 pair. Those are the 8, 9 pair. And that means this is another high digit. So this is a 6 or a 7, which means this is a 1 or a 2, which are the only 2 digits that are possibly far enough away. Now, this is not a 4. This is a 1, 2, or a 3, because if it was a 4, both of those would need to be 9, because 4 only has a single partner away. So the 4 is in here with the 5. That's interesting. One of these has to have a 7 on it. So if this is 7, 1, 2, this is 3. If there's a 7 here, this is 8, 9. Which would mean this has a maximum of 7. This is already fascinating. Now, does this mess with the modularity? So the way I often think about modularity is the reason it's called a modular line is they're all the modular remains from base 3. But the way that I think about it is just simply this. They are the vertical banding on your numeric keypad. 1 digit is from 147, 1 digit is from 258, 1 is from 369. There's too many rules in this puzzle for me to go into the full details of everything. So there is 1 of each modularity here. If this is 7, this would be 2. Yeah, I can do lots of stuff here. Now, I could never put 1 or 9 on a between line. I know there's a 5. Okay, I'm jumping all over the place because I've no idea where to look. There must be a 5 on this Renban. And the reason for that is a Renban contains a set of consecutive digits. If I start with the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I end up with 5 because it's 5 cells long. If I start with the 9 and go down 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, I will end up with a 5 and I'm okay. But it could have any combination in between of that so far, I think. Well, hang on, where is 1 in this column? No, where is 1 in column 9? It could be one of those two, so ignore me. Well, don't ignore me, keep watching the video, but... So it's the combination of all of these sets of 3 that's going to be interesting. But so this is just a 3-cell long entropic line, because that's a 3-cell long entropic line, and that's a 3-cell long entropic line. But, so does an entropic line and a parity line interact with a Nabner line in a way that I can't think of? So the minimum here is 3. I can't put 1 or 2 in any of those. But I could easily put 1 or 2 here because it's that digit and that digit that add to that digit. I can never put 9 up here, but I could put 9 in either of those two. But if 9 is not in either of those two, it goes on this Renban. Okay. These sum to 10. If there's... Whoa. If there's no 1 on that line, so the minimum here may be pushed up. If there's no 1 on this line, this is 2, 3, 5. Because if I don't include a 1 on this 10 line, because we know all 3 of those digits sum to 10. If I don't include a 1 on the 10 line, the minimum it could be is 2, 3, 4, which is 9. So I have to increase one of those digits by 1. And the only one I can increase by 1 without getting a conflict is the 4 to a 5. So if I don't include a 1, this is 2, 3, 5. This would become a 1, and that would be a minimum of 4. And it would be 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if there's no 1 on this 10 line, this is 7, 8, 9. That would be a maximum of 6. Which means these would be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if that's a 6. Or I could put a 6 down here. I'm not sure. But that's only if there's no 1 on it. If I put a 1 on it, then this is pushed up. So I can never put a 1 on this thermo. So the minimum here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minimum here is 2. If I put a 2 here, there's a 1 here. This would become a 3, and this would be 1, 4, 5, which could work. But then this would be 7, 8, 9. Hang on. If there must be a 1 on this. If this is 1, 2, 7, if this is 1, 2, 7, this is 3, this becomes 4, 5, 6. And that's okay. I know there's a 1 on the 10 line. So there's no 1 here. I'm not sure how I can use these. Well, these can't be 4 and 5. Because if these are 4 and 5, these would need to sum to 2. Hang on a minute. That's a modular line. So it's modular. So the minimum it could be is 3. Because 1 and 2 are different modularities. But I can't put 4 and 5 in here. The max... no, I'm not looking at maximums. There is a 1 on this 10 line. Those and those sum to that. But these could be both different odd even or the same odd even. Like those could both be odd or those could both be even. It doesn't really impact this parity line based on what that is. I'm not clicking with this puzzle. Okay, these sum to 12. Thing is, summing to 11 is restricted. Except you can repeat digits, which is where the problem comes in. Because 11 would normally be 1, 2, 3, and 5. Because the minimum you could put into 4 cells is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 10. And then you would say, well, I have to increase by 1, and they become 1, 2, 3, 5, and that's what they become. Except you can repeat digits in here. So I could do 1 and 1, and then I just need 2 digits that sum to 9, which could be 4 and 5. But then I couldn't use a 1 down here. And the minimum would be 2 and 3, and the other digits would have to sum to 6. But I could do that with like 2 and 4. So is it the combination of these cells? Like those cells there, with those ones counted twice, sum to 35? 34. Okay, I'm going to try and pick up where I left off. Now, a couple of things happened to interrupt the flow, and I'm going to be perfectly honest here. The first one was I went down a rabbit hole that was completely and utterly messing with my brain. Then I had someone visit, and I had to go deal with a visitor, and by the time the visitor had left, I had a migraine. So it's several hours since I started recording this puzzle. I've had a nap, I've had some medication, and now I'm trying to finish the puzzle. So, what I had remembered I was doing, and I did look at the recording that I had to this point to try and line everything up. I had done some exploration around this, but I'm going to do it again because I remember I was just completely and utterly confused. So I'm basically starting again. But what I had realized is that these cells with these cells counted twice because they're in all of these sums, have to sum to 34. Now, how is that going to work? That is an interesting question. Now, on these 11s, digits can repeat. Now, I haven't looked at the whole video. I didn't want to pick that up. But this 12 is interesting because I must use a 1 in a 12, I think. Because if I don't use a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 14. So there is a 1 in here. Now, if I don't use a 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 is 4 plus 9. Right, there's a 2 in here as well. So there's a 1 and a 2 in here. So, and it's 1, 2 with two digits summing to 9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 6 or 1, 2, 4, 5. So does that interfere with the modular line? Now, this is what I was starting to explore, and I think I disproved it. I think I proved it couldn't be 1, 2, 4, 5. And I'm trying to remember how. No, I did do this before. Right. So this is a modular line. Here we go. This is a modular line, and these 3 cells are all on a modular line. So on that, there is going to be one cell of 3 remainder 0, one cell of 3 remainder 1, and one cell of 3 remainder 2. And because that's, as I think I mentioned before, that's how a modular line works. 1, 2, 3, when you divide that by 3, you have a remainder of 1. 4, 5, 6, when you divide by 3, you have a remainder of 2. Sorry, no. 1, 4, 7, you have a remainder of 1. 2, 5, 8, you have a remainder of 2. And 3, 6, 9, you have a remainder of 0. So when you have 3 of those numbers together and you add those together, you basically, is this right? Yeah, because of that, whichever the numbers that you put on these, you're going to have a remainder of 3 left over. So these have to sum to a multiple of 3 because they're one of each modulo 3. So because of that, this has to be a multiple of 3 because 12 is a multiple of 3. So the 1 and 2 isn't here. This has to be 3, 6, 9. Now, this sort of math is tricky to me. Now, this can't be a 9, or those would have to sum to 3. It can't work. If this is 6, these have to sum to 6, and they would be 1, 2, 3. And if this is a 3, these would have to sum to 9 without using a 3. Which is 1, 2, 6, because the only other way to do it is 1, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4, which doesn't work. So it's 1, 2, and it must use a 1, 2. So it's 1, 2, 6. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 6 quadruple. Which means the minimum in those cells is 4. So this can't be a 6. If that was a 4, which is the minimum it could be, that couldn't be a 6, or those 2 cells would have to sum to 1. And I think the same is true here. Yeah, if this was a 4, sorry, if this was a 6 and the minimum here is a 4, those would be 10 and those would have to sum to 1. There's no 6 there. So but there's still modularity along here. There's still modularity along that line. 1 and 2 are different modularities. Can I put 7 here? No. Maybe. Maybe. So I've got the 12. So now I'm just working on the 11s independently. So I think I can uncolor these, because this is the way the 12 is definitely made up. The minimum here is 4, but I think I can take it as high as 7. 7 would make this 1, this 2. No, I can't make this 7, because if this is 7, this would have to be the same modularity as 7. Yeah, if this is 7, this would have to be from 147. So this would be the 1. And if this is 7, this would be at least 2, making those 9, and those would have to sum to 2, which doesn't work. So I can't put 7 here, and the same is going to be true here. So this can't be 6 either. So this can't be 7, 8, or 9. So this is 4 or 5, and I think the same is true here. If this is 7, this has to be the 1, because of modularity. That makes this 7, 2, and those that have to sum to 2. This is 4 or 5, because I can't use 1, 2, 3, or 6. This is 7, 8, 9. There's a 7, 8, 9 triple, so 7 here, and there's no 7 here. Now, how does this work? Well, that and that are the same modularity, and that's not 3 or 6, so there's no 3 there. That and that are the same modularity, that's not 3 or 6, there's no 3 there. This is a 1, 2 pair, this is a 3, 6 pair. Okay, so how is this going to work? I didn't get this far last time, and I think I spent, I don't know, 20 minutes trying to do it, but I spent a lot more time trying to understand what this was doing. So feel free to call this part of the puzzle not a blind solve, because I'd explored this before with a lot more oddities and everything. I don't really remember the full details of what I did. It was hours ago. But I don't mind people turning around and saying this wasn't a blind solve. This part in particular, everything up to the bit where I cut was completely blind. I'd never seen any of it before. Everything up until here, I'd kind of explored before, and from this point on, I've no idea. The stuff between then the cut and here, I had sort of explored before, but not discovered sort of a good way to get there. I think this makes sense though. It's all about the puzzles for me, and cope. I do occasionally get comments about saying you're fake. It's like, no, I'm presenting puzzles. So if this is 5, this is 2, and this is 1 because of modularity. If this is 4, this is 1, and this is 2. So these always sum to 6, and these always sum to 6. And here it's going to be an issue, isn't it? Yeah, let me try that again. If this is 5, by modularity that becomes 2, and this becomes 1. So that sums to 6. If this is 4, this becomes 1, and that becomes 2, and this sums to 6. And the same will work in reverse. So these always sum to 6. So these have to sum to 5. So there's no 5 in there. This has to sum to 5. And it can't be 2, 3. This is 1, 4. So that's a 2. That's a 3. That's a 6. That's a 3. The 2 means that can't be a 6. That's a 7. There's no 4 in here. This is 5, 6. And the 6 makes that the 5 and that the 6. But this has to sum to 5. Does that do anything? Hang on, does this have to be 1? No, hang on. There is going to be a repeat digit here. So if this is the 4, this is the 4. And if this is the 1, so if this is 4, 2, it's 4, 4, 2, 1. And if this is 5, 1, it's 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 5. That's weird. Is it this between line now? Because you can never put 1 or 9 on a between line. So either if oh no, that could be 9, 1, and then that could be whatever. Well, not whatever. This 10 line doesn't have a 3 on it. It doesn't need to have a 2 though. This is either 1, 5. No, sorry, this sums to 5. This is either 1, 4 or 2, 3. This is either 1, 4 or 2, 3. because it has to sum to 5, the same as this. Hang on, but I know the sum of this. This is a 10 line. It's either 1, 2, 7 or 1, 4, 5. So there's no 6. So 6 is in one of those two because I can't put 6 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's no, right, so this either goes 6, 7, 8, 9, which would make this 1, 4, 5, or this is a 6, which means this is 1, 2, and this is 4, 5. So this is either 4, 5, 6. So this is either 4, 5, 6, or if this is 6, this is 1, 2, 7. Hang on a minute. This is 4, 5, 6 if this is 1, 2, 7. And if this is 1, 4, 5, this is 2, 6, 7. They're the only possibilities. Is that impacting that Nabner line? I really don't know where to look. This between line. I can't put 1 or 9 here. There is a 6 down here. There's a 6 down here as well. Can I put 6 here? 5, 4, 3, maybe. What are these digits? 1, oh, hang on, the 2 makes that the 1. So that's the 2. And we know that by, right, that becomes the 4, that becomes the 5 by modularity. The 4 makes that the 1 and that the, sorry, that the 4 and that the 1. These now, that can't be 1 and 4, but these are now known. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. 4, 6, 8, 9. That's got to have an impact. Now, you can't put 9 on a between line. These are also known. 2, 3, 5. 1 is in one of those two because you can't put 1 on a between line. So I'm not sure what I mentioned before at the cut, but you can never put 1 or 9 on a between line because you need to have a digit higher than the digits on the line and a digit lower than the digits on the line in the circles at the end. So you could never use 1 or 9 on the line, or you'd need something higher than 9 or lower than 1. So 5, 6, 8, 7, 9 could work. Okay, this is tricky. Parity here. So 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9. That feels forced. Does that mess with the Renban at all? This could be anything from 5 or above because you need 2 different ways of making the digit in a single cell. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If this is 5, this couldn't be 5 because this couldn't, oh, hang on. This couldn't be 5 because these would all have to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could only put a single 1 there. This isn't 5. Now, if it's 6, this could be 1, 5, and this could be 2, 4. That could work. Seven gives me more freedom. I could go 1, 6, 5, 2. That would all work. No, if this is 6, sorry, if this is 7, how would I make 7 work? I think 7 might have a problem. 7 may have a problem because the way to make up 7 are 1, 6, which I could do in either way. I could put 1 in any of those cells, so the 6 could go in any of those cells. But if I put a 7 here, that's a 6. So I can't put 6 here. So the 6 would go here and the 1, so the 6, that'd be 6, 1 if it's if there's a 6-1 on it. If there's no 6-1, it'd be 2, 5, and then I couldn't do 3, 4. So it would be 6, 1, 2, 5. And that works. Okay. Got to remember these sum to 5. They're 1, 4 or 2, 3. Can I do anything with that? Is there anything I can do with this parity line? I'm going to remove those. I've got to put a 7 down here. So they're 1, 7, 8, 9. 1, 7, 8, 9. Hang on, that's a problem. I can't put 1 or 9 here. There's a 7 or an 8 on this line. And this is 2, 3. There's a 7 or an 8 on this line. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7 or 8. So this can only be 8 or 9 because this is lower than 7 or 8. So this has to be higher than 7 or 8. This can only be 8, 9, giving me an 8, 9 pair. There's no 8 there. This is 4, 6. If this is 7, that could be 8 or 9. If that's 8, that is 9. If that's 8, 9, this is 1, 7. That's 9, and we're okay. But there is a 4 on this line now, so that can't be the 5. This is a 2 or a 3. So that's a low digit, and there must be a low digit down here, but only one of them. So there must be a low digit on this Renban line. Wait a minute. This is low, medium, and high. So I'm going to do some colouring here. This is low, this is medium, this is high. The jumping on this is nuts. This is a low, medium, and high because it's an entropic line. So I don't know what the colours are, so I don't know the orders. So I'm just going to go low, medium, high. Now this order on this line is complete nonsense. Okay, I'm not saying that's the order, I'm just saying that's what it is. So this has to have a low, a medium, and a high. The highest low digit is 3, the lowest high digit is 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a 5-digit line. So this is 3 and 7 are down here, and this is from 4, 5, 6, and this line is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is absolutely insanely gorgeous. And these are 1, 2, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. There's no 1 or 2 in this column. This is a 1, 2 pair. And I know the order. That's the 2, that's the 1. So if this is a 6, that'd be a 4. That doesn't work. If this is a 7, that would be 5, and that would be 6. So if this is 7, this is 5 and 6. If this is 8, this is 6 and 7. And if this is 9, this is 7 and 8. They're the only possibilities. So there is a 1 in here. So this isn't 1, 4. This is a 2, 3, and the 2 tells me that's the 3 and that's the 2. The way this bounces is insane. Where's 3 in this column? That's a 3. Which means this is the 2. There's no 2 here. This is cool. Now there must be a 7 here because it's the only high digit I can put on the Renban line. So that's the 8, which means this is the 9. So there's no 8, 9 here. This is a 1, 7. The 8 looks up making that the 9. I can take the 9 out of there. That becomes 7, 8, which makes that the 9, which makes that the 8. Which... Are you kidding me? I feel so abused. So 4 is down here. 4 and 5 are both on this. Yeah, where's 4 and 5? Oh, this is a 7, 8, 9 triple. That's a 6. So there's no 6 here. This is a 4, 5. There's no 4, 5 here. This is a 6, 7, making that the 4 and that the 6. This is now a triple. 1, which is the low digit. 5, which is the mid digit, and 9, which is the high digit. Well, talk about playing with entropy. I don't know anything about a 3-cell Nabner line. I really don't know what I can do with that. There's no 9 in one of those. These are 7, 8, 9. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know what that is. I don't know where to look. I mean, I can see 6s up here, but I can't even see how to use the parity line. 3 is up here. These are the same parity. If they're even, they are 6 and 8. This would be set. Right. If those are even, so the digits along the line alternate parity. If these were even, they would be 6 and 8. Okay? No problem. Except what would that be? That'd be 7, which would make that 9. But 9 is not 1 plus 7. So that doesn't work. Those are not even. This is crazy. These are odd. That is odd. These are even. So what can I do with that? So this is 6 or 8. This is not 1, 5 or 9. This is 3 or 7. And so this C's 1, 3, 5 and 9. That's a 7. So that's an 8 and that's a 7. These C 1, 3, sorry, these C 3 and 7. So they're 1, 5, 9. That's not a 1 because it's a 6 or an 8. This is 4, 6 or 8. And it's not 6. There's no 7 here. There's no 2 here. One of the options is 1, 2, 7, but there's still lots of ways of doing that. No 7 on the Nabner. I can't put both 8 and 9 on the Nabner. So only one of these can be even, which works either way. If this is 7, actually I could have got that a different way, I think, because if this is 7, this is 5 and 6, and that would be the even. If this is 8, this would be 6 and 7, one of which is even. If this is 9, this is 8 and 7, which one is which is even. So I couldn't have made 2 evens anyway. Right. Because these are all different parities. These have to be different parities. Either way it works. Oh, this is 7. So 7 is down here. Which happens in either way. Right. Of course. This is cool, but I'm stuck again. These appear to be able to be anything because this is 159. So they're anything but 159. Oh, this 6 is that's a 5. So there's no 5 there. So if there's no 5, this can't be 7. And if this can't be 7, this can't be 6. So is there now a combo? Right, this can't be 8. Because if this is 8, this is 2, 6, and there'd be an 8 and a 6. This is 9. Of course, I could have got that by just looking at the totals. This is the 9, this is the 8, this is the 7. 9 is 2 plus 7, 1 plus 8, and this is the 6. There's no 9 here. These are 1 and 5. And this line is now completely done for parity and everything. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 8, 9. These are 4, 8, and 9. There's no 8, 9 there. That's the 4, that's the 8, that's the 9. These are pairs. 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 5 makes that the 4 and that the 5. There's no 9 here. This is 3 along an entropy, so that can't be a high digit. So all I know is, which it couldn't be anyway, because it sees 7, 8, 9. But there is a high digit here, and it has to be a 9. There has to be a high digit on this line. Because there must be a low, a mid, and a high on those 3 cells. None of them can be 7 or 8. There has to be a 9, but the 159 has to be here. That's the high digit. This is amazing. So there's a 7 and an 8 in here. Yeah, okay. This Nabner is going to do work, but well, hang on. It's a 3-cell Nabner that only exists between 1 and 6 now. Well, that's restricted. But not restricted enough. Hang on, there's no 5 here. So what can this be now? I can't use 145. This is 127. And this is the 4. This is 127. There's no 7 there. There's no 2 there. So this is 1 or 2. Okay. But there must be a low digit down here. So that's low, and one of those is low. But there could be 1 and 3 on here. And I could put 2 down here, I think. I think. Eight is in one of these 2. That's not a 6 anymore. This is one tricky puzzle. Well, it's not 2 tricky puzzles. 8 is in one of those 2, which works for the 8s I've found. Is there one of these that can't be low or mid? I'm not sure. It's going to be this Nabner line now. Because they're from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's terrible pencil marking. And I regret it. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it's not 2 either. This is not 1 or 4. Wait a minute. If there's no 6 on the line, it's 1, 3, 5. Because I can't have any 2 digits on it that are... And it can't... So if there's no 6 on the line, how do I get 3 digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are consecutive, that don't have anything consecutive? If I used a 1, I couldn't use a 2. I could take a 3, I couldn't use a 4, and I could use a 5. The minute I include a 2, I couldn't use a 1 or a 3, so I could take a 4, and then I can't use the 5, and I've run out of digits. So if there's no 6 on the line, it's 1, 3, 5, which breaks that cell. So there is a 6 on this line, and that's a 6, which means that's not a 6. So 5, no, I don't know. This is not a 6. This is absolutely amazing. There is a 9 in one of those two. If this is a 1, that becomes a 2 by Sudoku, and that doesn't work. There's no 1 here. How is this has got to resolve it? This has to resolve it somehow. One of these has to be mid. So one of them is 4, 5. But I could do 1, 3 here, couldn't I? 1, 3, 4, 5, I think is okay. So let's go back to Sudoku. In here, well, 2, where's 2? This is a quadruple. 2, 3, 5, 9. Well, that can't be 9. There's no 5 in those. So there is a 5 in here. 2, 3. But there's no 2 here. So there is a 2 over here, and there is a 5 over here. There's a 5 over here. There's no 3 here. This is a 1, 5, 9 triple. So that's a 7. This is a 1, 2 pair. This still could go 2, 4, 6 though, couldn't it? This is a 1, 5 pair. So that's the 9. Which means there's no 9 here. This is a 2, 3. That is a 5, which makes that a 1 and that a 5, which gives me the entropy here. This has got to be medium and it can't be 5 or 6. That's a 4. This is a 2 or a 3. The 4 looks like making that the 3, which makes that the 2, that the 1, and that the 2. Holy cow, that's gorgeous. This is 5 and 1. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Those are just 4 and 8. And I'll use the 4 to look down, making that the 8 and that the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 and 9 go in. This 7 looks down, making that the 6 and that the 7. The 6 looks up, making that the 3 and that the 6. The 3 looks down, making that the 2 and that the 3. 2 comes out of those. This 2 makes that the 1, which makes that the 8, which makes that the 9, and makes that the 2. The 9 looks up, making that the 1 and that the 9. The 4 looks across, making that the 5 and that the 4. The 5 looks back, making this the 3 and this the 5. The 1 looks across, making this the 7 and this the 1. And this, I've got 1, 2, I need to put a 3 in. That 3 knocks out those. That 3 knocks out that one. 3. 4, 5, I need to put a 6 in. It's not in those. 6. These now become 7 and 8, the last 2 digits left. So that's the 7, that's the 8, and that's the solution to the puzzle. Now, this puzzle took me, I'm going to say it took me the 72-33, even though the video was shorter than that, because I did spend a bit of time exploring this that you didn't see. You absolutely didn't see it because it was bad. I got distracted. I started to get grumpy because I was getting a headache. I had a visitor. Life gets busy sometimes, particularly I'm recording this on the Easter long weekend, and things are insane right now. I mean, things are always insane. I have a lot of trouble finding time to record puzzles, but I still try and bring a puzzle every day. Wow. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Kennet's dad. That was something special. Now, if people weren't familiar with the constraints, I'm sure they would have found it completely overwhelming, and I hope Kennet's dad doesn't get upset with the reset that I did in order to try and bring it more in line with visibility and accessibility. If Kennet's dad gets grumpy, then that's the way it is. Thank you everyone for watching. That was an absolutely stunning puzzle. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And as always, good luck with your solving.